Hi guys, Miss Powell here, and we are now covering reflections on a coordinate plane. Reflection. So remember that a reflection basically flips the figure over the line of reflection. And in eighth grade, we have two lines of reflections. We can reflect over the x-axis or we can reflect over the y-axis. Each reflected point on the figure should be the same distance from the line of reflection on the opposite side. Okay. So again, we can reflect over the x-axis or reflect over the y-axis. If you reflect over the x-axis, this will become your rule. So if you reflect over the x, remember your x remains the same while your y becomes opposite. And if you reflect over the y-axis, then your y remains the same while your x becomes opposite. After a reflection, the pre-image and image has congruent side lengths and angles because you are not changing the size of your shape. You're just changing the location of your shape. So again, let's go ahead and start looking at our reflections. So since we are reflecting over this line right here, this line is in the middle. Whatever line is in the middle of your two images is what you're reflecting over. And this is our x-axis. So this is a reflection over the x-axis. Reflection over the x-axis, okay? Because the x-axis is what's in the middle of it. Meanwhile, over here, we are reflecting over the y-axis because the y-axis is in the middle of the two. So whatever axis is in the middle of the two images is what you're reflecting over. So now I'm going to work on this side only first, and then we'll go to this side. So reflecting over the x-axis, the first thing I'm going to do is identify which one is my image and which one is my pre-image. Remember, my pre-image do not have the apostrophe marks. So this one is my pre-image, and I just wrote PRE for pre-image in there. This one up here has the apostrophes, so this is my image. So this is what we started with, and then this is what we finished with. So the first thing it wants us to do is write down our ordered pairs. So we have D, E, F. And then we're going to have D prime, E prime, and F prime, which is for our image. So we're going to go through and write our ordered pairs. So to get to D, we went over to 2 and down to -2. For E, we went over to 7 and down to -7. And for F, we went to 2 and down to -7. And you can see these just by following what did you go over to, what did you go down to, over to, down to, over to, down to. So now to get our image point, we are going to go and get the D prime, E prime, F prime. We're going to go over to +2 and up to +2. We're going to go over to +7 and up to +7. And we're going to go over to +2 and up to +7. If you look at all of your order points, you will see your X's remain the same. So 2, 2, 7, 7, 2, 2. Meanwhile, so our rule is X comma Y reflects 2. Our X's stay the same. We see that all of our X's stay the same, but our Y's went from -2 to +2, -7, +7, -7, +7. So all of our Y values became the opposites of what it originally was. Remember, that does not mean that it became negative. It means that it became the opposite, opposite, opposite. So this negative sign that we're going to be using throughout this means opposite. Okay. So now let's go through reflecting over our y-axis. So we reflected over the y. I see that this image over here do not have apostrophe, so that's our pre-image. So I'm going ahead and put PRE in it. And then this one is our image because it has the apostrophes. So now we have W, X, and Y. And then we have W prime, X prime, and Y prime. Okay. So our W, I went over to 2 and up to 6. My X, I went over to 7 and up to 4. And my Y, I went over to 2 and up to 2. For my W prime, I went over to -2 and up to +6. For my X, I went over to -7 and up to 4. And for my Y, I went over to -2 and up to 2. For my rule, I started out with my pre-image, so that's the XY, and it was reflected to my x's went from 2 to -2, 7 to -7, 2 to -2. So our x's became opposite. Our y's was 6, 6, 4, 4, 2, 2. So they stay the same. So that would be our rule. Okay. Again, keep these notes close by as you're doing your assignments. Take your time and do your best. Good luck.